And Douglas, I'm actually very pleased to see you again. I have always enjoyed. I think this is the third time we do a webinar together, and I'm particularly happy with this one for a couple of reasons. Maybe the most important reason is that I have now got to know you during the pandemic. We have never met in person, I believe. But I have never seen your software.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen demos. I've seen demos
for me as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I have seen someone on basically on YouTube. I've seen something, but it's always different when you have the man himself, right? Because you're the owner of Infigo. Are you also a programmer yourself?
No, God no. I just about to get out of bed.
You what? Sorry.
I just about get out of bed.
You just got out of bed. Okay. Well, so where?
I would love to be able to do that sort of clever stuff. But...
Okay. So you had the money, or you had the idea, or you had that combo?
Yeah, that combo.
Okay.
Money, idea, intent, and yeah, I'm an engineer, so that was I understand the technical level, but not enough to build it.
So what is, you've been in the market for some time, so what is it from your perspective, the technical and the business challenge in this market? I mean, there's so many solutions out there. What should people look for?
Gosh, that's a sort of awesome question. I think the reality is, I think that it needs to be a two-way thing. What the customers need to look out for is somebody that's willing to work with them. That's number one, because no solution is going to do everything that a customer wants. And anybody that tells you that is just throwing you a yarn. And I also think it's important that the customer and the software provider get on. I think what we've learned, and we turned 10, which we still haven't celebrated yet this year, well, this is our 10th year being in business, is you really have to get on, and there needs to be a connection and a willingness that things will go wrong, things will go right, and it's about those relationships and willing to talk. So I think they're the big things that we find when we're working with customers. We've got our first couple of customers that ever set up with us are still with us, and we've had plenty of customers come and go, which I'm sure we'll have plenty more come and go.
And if you look at the maturing a company like Infigo, I imagine that it changes some of the perspectives of where you go as a company. One thing is that you of course have to continue developing service, but now you also have to take into considerations that you have customers where the new update should be still fit into their business. And I was also thinking that service and the internationalization and all those kind of things is now playing a new role in how a company like yours are developing, right?
Yeah, there is. It's one of those things. Funny enough, we often our customers will say, "Oh, it's going to be £1,000 a month. That's expensive." And then you start to drill into the various different components that do make up and drive a system. Now, anywhere. If you think about it from its infancy, you have a piece of code. You guys write that. You build the code. You build it up, the customers say, "Oh, that's cool, we like that feature." And then you start to develop that. And then, as you say, you add languages, you add more products, you add multi-sites, you add multi-language, you add multi-currency, then you add taxation, then you add Arabic, left to right, yada, yada, yada. So you go on. So definitely, as the product matures, you have to be quite vigilant that you're continuing to keep that code base updated and that you continue to evolve. And one of the strangest impacts that we had during the pandemic is we actually threw a lot of engineering resource at moving some of our system forward. So some of the stuff that I'm going to show you today is not even live. I'm showing you on our QA environment. This is very brave, which I've been told by my team not to do, but come on, let's crack on. Let's have a bit of fun.
I mean, as I said, I never met you, but I think that if we went to a British pub and got a few pints, we could rule the world and basically just try everything out, right? That's what you're doing here, basically, right?
Well, most of my team will tell you that the best ideas will normally happen in a hot tub, but I can tell you that most of the important business decisions don't. No. We're very passionate about what we do, and as you guys know, I think what we really try and do is we've got to keep pushing the boundaries of the functionality, while making sure the core feature base is very rich and very powerful. And we look at ourselves more openly than we've probably ever had in the last 6 to 12 months to say, look, is our system capable of doing the easy things? Because there's no point in doing the really cool things if we can't get the basics. And we have seen some challenges where I've questioned my team, and they've questioned themselves and said, well, actually, is that an easy way to do that? Or is the customer going to go through some hoops to make some of this work? And that lends itself to some of the, as you add bigger and greater components, some of the simpler things get forgot about. But our theme, which will be running for the next sort of 12 months, our calendar year runs from May, is all about web to print in 30 minutes. We know we can do some fantastic things. We've got customers where we've got 90,000 users that are linked to 30 APIs and doing punch out, punch in, single sign on. But actually, some customers want to fire up a storefront. They want to be able to add a dozen products. They want to be able to get 100 users, and they want to do that in the quickest time as possible. So that is bringing ourselves back down to the ground to say, can we maintain that? Can we do that? And can we do things better? And ultimately, the question is always, or the answer is always, yes, we can do it better.
And is that something, Douglas, that you see now more than before, as you mentioned, like in this period of pandemic? Is that something that you see that surge forward? Also, the interest from, let's say, the smaller PSPs?
So no doubt we've had customers that say, look, this is an expense, we don't want it, can we leave? But we've also had as many customers say, look, this is a fantastic tool. You've been telling us for years that we should be doing this. Now is the time that we need to be doing that. And those customers that have done that, taken that leap of faith, or just put off, or doing a project that they've put off, are really benefiting. They're getting the most out of the system, and they're getting customers that are coming back to them saying, yeah, I should have been doing that a long time ago. So that's something that we've found. You mentioned a little bit earlier on about maturity of the maybe product and the brand. Is we're doing a lot more things that are really deeply integrated in with our clients. So and their clients, we're helping them do more within their customers, and that's ultimately makes it stickier for us to them, and then for their clients as well.
Well, let's find out in 30 minutes then. That's your slogan, isn't it?
I got my watch shot.
Don't worry, I got one.
Don't worry, Douglas. You always know that I will just do like this when you're done, right? So, as you know, the thrill, Jacques and I, we will turn off the cameras, and you will share the screen and take it away. We will be listening. So if you have any questions about the technology or anything like that, you just say, hey, and we will try to see if we can solve it.
Yeah, I want to know, what do I get for winning the best web to print 30 minutes demo?
You will get a nice INKISH cup with a logo on, I think.
Oh, okay.
I have to print it first and figure out how to do that, but something, definitely.
Okay, well, take it away, Douglas.
Well done, guys, for putting this on. It is really good. I think at the time to bring us all together, and there's a few vendors that out there try and hide under the carpets a little bit. It's good to myself and Kelvin at VPress have been having a bit of fun in the background, having a chat about things. So yeah, it's good. There's lots of good things, and yeah. Well,
Douglas, as a final note here, I can just say that if I, as a media, was trying to hide below a carpet, it will go like this. So I will not be very invisible.
You think I cut the carpet behind me doing lots of
Well,
okay,
take
let's
it away.
see what Infigo can install for us then.
Take it away.
Okay.
Awesome, thanks, guys. Righty, let's find the share screen button. Always part of the fun.
In the bottom top next to it.
Yeah. All good. Excellent. So hopefully now, guys, you can see the screen okay?
Yes.
Super. So what I'm going to take you through is the basics of some of our new functionality that we're building literally live as we speak in the background. We've got some cool new features, and it's all about making it easier, faster, and much more easily maintainable for our customers. People that will know us, that we're known for very good sites. We're known for sites that really pop, well-designed sites. I'll show you a couple that we're known for here. So yeah, sites that are not just functional, not that just work really well, but are really well designed. But we often get asked, how do I actually bring that to the party? Do I need to be a developer? Do I need to be an Uber designer? So we've been working through using technology to bridge some of those gaps and make it much easier to be able to build. So I'm just going to log in to our system, into our administration section of where, one second, there we go, and where I'm now logged in as a platform. So at this point, I can see all the storefronts that I want to be able to create and build. So we have an area called Storefront Management. This allows us to create, build, and set up any storefronts. From in here, we can go in, we can assign a new storefront, we can apply a URL, and very quickly, you've got a whole platform up and running. So if I wanted to add a new storefront, called Doug's Demo, and I hit insert, that will take a few seconds. And then in the background, that is now building and setting it up. So I'm creating all the administration, I'm creating all the settings, and all of that area is now going to be built into the system. So I can then apply all my various settings. So if I wanted to, I can add a new URL in here, www.doug'sdemo.com. And away you go. And once we've, oh, there we go, doesn't want me to put in there. Once we want to do that, we can then add in various different setups and things like that. So it's very easy to be able to build, oh, there we go, doesn't like that. .com, always good. That's what I get when I'm being a bit rusty. So now I can very easily assign that URL to my demo storefront. So once I've done that, I can go back to my account selection. I've now got Doug's Demo available. And I can now set up. So in this storefront, everything is blank. I've got no products, no customers, and everything is ready to go. So I've got set up. The guys have fired on for me. So we've got this, it's called INKISH Demo. And on here, I'm going to build out everything from the customers to the products, right the way through to the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'd like to add my logo. So we've been working a lot with our theme. So I can go in here and assign and build up my brand. So I can add my logo. I can add my colors. I've got my color selector in here. I can change the default colors on the platform, and that will then apply that. I can then go down and select everything from the background, from the login, the editors, anywhere that I want to be able to design and configure without using any code. I've got some simple options to be able to do that. And we've got things like how many products can I show on a home page. We can switch that from 3 to 2, and we can build in very quickly the setup of my configuration. And as I move down, we've got various different pages, so I can change the option of how my shopping cart looks. All of these things are very quick and very easy to do without the requirements of any programming, things like that. So now I've created my storefront. I've now assigned all of my branding. I can now go in and start setting up the storefront. So the next part I'm going to do is go into my customers, and using our import tool, I can build and create these customers. So at the moment, I've got a couple of my guys with their demo accounts. But what I want to do is build up a proper storefront. So I'm going to have things like usernames. I'm going to have things like departments. I could, if I wanted to, have things such as approval, etc., etc. And if you've never done this before, we provide a standard template. But I'm just going to choose a file from my machine. There we are. I've got my customer list. I'm going to do an import. And now I've got my various customers added from the system. So also it's created my departments. So I've got marketing, sales, management. I've got it set up with their approver, the different roles they are, and also their names and everything like that. All of that is built in. We can include things like addresses, budgets, etc. So I'm making that really fast to be able to build and control that site. So I've now set up my brand. I've now set up my customers. What I'd like to go and do is set up my editable content. So in here is where we control all of the various items on the site. So I'm just going to do a quick search. We've got a few on here for my logo. I can go into my logo here, and I've got the option of being able to configure and set up my logo within the system. So I can go in here, add a logo, whatever it may be. I've got these various different options to be able to do and assign that as I go. So we can build, we can configure all of these different areas as I need. And based on which area of the system, I can easily go and do that. So I've also got on here, I've got some banner ones where I can assign a banner. So I can build up my logo, I can then build up my menu items, I can then assign my banners, etc., etc. And then one of the good things that we've been working on is we've been building up templates that allow you to configure and build these things. So out of the box, we're going to be having a huge suite and selection of products and setup that allow your customers to be able to build and configure that from that point of view. So you'll see here, I've got a nice design to show me whether I want the menu, where I'd like the logo position, what type of menu item I want, etc. And then I can simply go up here and upload a logo. So in this instance, I've got my Infigo software, which I could just simply upload from my machine. I've got my Infigo logo blue, and then away you go. And depending on what I've set up here, that will then be saved to my system, etc. So it's a really nice, easy way without having to code that to be able to build up my options. And then the last one I want to do is my banner, which I'll just go here. So we've got banners on here. So in my banners, this is where I want a homepage banner. So if I go to Top Trumps, I've got example here, I've got an image here, or if I go into Hatch, I've got a banner here, and I want that to be able to rotate. So on here, I can simply go in. I'm using a setup here, so we've got a default banner, promote your banner, so I can simply go in, and then I've got the option of which banners would I like to use. My team have very kindly and created me a couple of banners. So I can go in and create my banner. I can add some text. And also on this, I can even create a link. So if I wanted to create a link to a page on the site or a product on the site, I can search the product. I haven't set up any products yet, so we'll just link it to a page of which I can find all of the pages on the system, and I'll link that. So I can assign a banner, I can assign some text, and I can assign, if I want to, a link where that goes. And if I'm happy, I can just save that, and then I've now got a banner. But actually what I want to do in this instance is I'd like to add another slider. So I'm going to upload another image, which I'm going to use my blue one. Add some text. And I'm not going to add a link for this. I'll come back and do that in a second. So very quickly, without any coding, any requirements, I've now created my theme. I've imported my customers. I've set up my site banners. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and actually assign some products. So the products is obviously, this is the most used part of our system because everything operates around a product, whether it be a variable product, whether it could be a kit, whether it could be something as simple as a stock item. We can build and import that. And what we are finding is we integrate more and more with various customers. We are finding that the automation and creation of products is becoming really more important. So I've got the option here to import my list of products. So in my demo file here, I've got a list of products I can create. And not just the information about the products, I can include things like pricing, any attribute options, and whether I want them to show on the home page, etc. So I simply click import. And then all of a sudden, I now have a lot of products that are ready for me to go in and adjust as I need. And if I hit edit here, I've got all my product options. I've got my descriptions in here. I can map it to different categories, whatever it may be. I can add in a picture. So if I just go to my poster, I can assign a poster picture. And away you go. So without too many options, I've now imported my products, linked it to my customers, and away we go. So if I now go to my customer section and say I want to be able to impersonate a user or a setup, then I will now just take this one here. I now have my storefront created with my logo. I've got my banners. I've now got my default products which have been created. And now if I wanted to, I can simply check out. I want to push that one further because what we're doing is really simple. We need to push the boundaries a little bit more. So I'm now going to go back in as admin. I'm going to go into our Mega Edit products, and I'm going to build that up. So I would like to add a new one. I'm going to select my poster, and I'm going to do this from using our new InDesign plugin. So I'm quickly going to just swap screens a second. Let me just might just have to do 1 second. 1 second, guys. Just have to minimize this. There we go. There we go. And get InDesign to show on the screen. No, it doesn't want to show. Let me stop the screen and just show you on that. Swap over to my InDesign screen. There we go. So in my InDesign, I'm going to pull up a poster. So we have been working hard, what feels like an eternity rather than just a pandemic of building our InDesign plugin. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of complexity. So the team have been working very diligently to bring this in. So here we are. I've got a lovely poster. And I've got various different items on here. So if I just bring in my InDesign tools, I can see I've got text boxes, got image backgrounds, we've got separate items on here and all various different things. But some of the cool things that I can do in here So we've gone, rather than just create what I would class as just a placeholder plugin, which allows you to say which elements are variable, we're actually pushing, as we try to do, the boundaries even further. So right from within InDesign, I can actually build up a complete document. So I can set up my backgrounds, I can set up my clip arts, any fonts, any text libraries, colors, and people familiar with the web to print will understand some of these functionalities. So I can really build up a document directly from within InDesign. Obviously, an important part of this is being able to add variables. So I can come in here, I can add my text variable, I can have a color variable, a date variable, a drop-down variable. We can build all of this information very, very easily and simply directly from InDesign. So I created my company name, which I'd like to change. So it's a simple text variable. And then I've also created a drop-down, which is a drop-down label, which I can select from multiple selections within my job. And then if I want to go in here by selecting my text tool from InDesign and go in, allow the properties. And the really cool and powerful thing here is I'm giving all the power of Mega Edit within InDesign to be able to select and configure those properties very easily and very quickly. So in this now, I'd like to use fit to box, and I'd like that to wrap within the box. So I select that very easily. I've got a simple title here. I've got nothing going on, but actually I'd like to turn fit to box on here, but I don't want wrapping switched on for this particular one. So we have the options for both being in the form and being directly editable within what we call the canvas from that. So once I'm happy, I simply save, which you'll get a little prompt to let me know. And then, you don't have to get the fonts ready or anything like that. We actually create an export file. So now this is just get my all the components of that file, and that's collated that in, and it's created a full InDesign file in here with all of the various elements and the details to be able to import and build that on there. So I'm now going to take this file and I'm going to jump back on my browser, and we're going to import that and see how it's interacted within the system. So I'll just switch back over to my browser. So we're now in our administration where we were, and I'm now going to select my file, which I've got in here. As you can see here, it's the one I just exported, 127. And now I'm going to create that file. So what this will do is I'll go and create all the components necessary of building my my Mega Edit. It will create the canvas, it will create the stock items, it will create all the placeholders, the fonts, the placement of that, and anything else that is being set up within the system. So I've now got a system where I've got customers, products, branding. I've now built a Mega Edit product, which allow me to create some dynamic content on the front end. And now I'm just going to go back into my customers and just place an order as that user for the system. So I'll take this one here. And as you can see, I've also got various attribute options which were pulled in, which can affect the pricing and things like that, depending on the setup and stuff like that as well. So I click start. That will now load up my Mega Edit. And where we are, I've now got my full and we've got auto wrapping, and I've got all that sort of stuff. I can quickly switch between my text. I can go on here and dynamically enter the text. I can use then all the functionality, and I'm just going to check that out. So I've now got a poster I can now check out. My address is pulled in from my import. I've got my different delivery types, and then boom, I'm gone. Very easy, very simple. I now got my reference number. I've now got all my order details. I can see that if I need to, I can come back to that. I can place a reorder, and I will also get some status updates, which we'll talk about in just a second. So I'm now going to finish as that user, which will take me back to the administration side of the system. And I wanted to show you some cool stuff that's been going on in the background with my import. So if I just go to my product a second, I've actually configured this to be a product that's automatically going to push into an MIS system. So the guys at HP very kindly have set me up a site flow instance. So I'm now going to assign that, which will assign poster. So I'll give it a unique ID, which will map it to my site flow. So automatically, now this order is placed, I go into my operations area. I can see here that that order has been ordered. And in a second, the artwork will be generated, and then that order will dynamically be placed in with our system, and it'll be pushed into our site flow, which I'll grab a site flow login in a second. Alex, you can just fire that over in the chat. I'll log in site flow, be able to show you this order, update the status, and then you can see that. So in the last probably just under 30 minutes, I've created a storefront from scratch, imported my branding, set up my branding. I've added some banners, I've created some products, I've imported some users, I've assigned them different departments, and I've checked out on the product. So that's pretty compelling, and hopefully, as you can see, yes, it's not everything, but there's, for being able to build and create, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the background to be able to make this as simple and as easy and to be able to do from that point of view. So yeah, some really simple tools from that point of view. So guys, that is me on the basic section. I'll maybe pick back up. Any questions so far?
It's impressive with everything you can do in 30 minutes.
Yeah, just under 30, I think it was.
Yeah.
No. You still have 64 seconds left. So, yeah, I keep track on things like that. So, I don't know about you, Jacques, but are you easy to impress or are you difficult to impress?
Neither one of them, I think. General like everyone, but no, it looks like a very flexible and quite easy to operate software solution. Mm-hmm. I know of some others that are more complex, but well, as you said, you only touched on let's be honest, on the basics, I guess, from what is possible with the solution.
But what I like, solution, right? But what I liked about, as you say, touched upon the basics, is that, I mean, just the fact that you have that integration to InDesign is something. I mean, because that is a question you always get: is that how? I mean, can you use templates from, for example, InDesign kind of thing, right? So. I think that was a very good one to show in this case. We have actually a few questions, comments. I think we should start with the last one first, because that seems to be an ever ongoing fight between you and Kelvin Bell. And he basically
just love.
Yeah, and he says best demo so far. And I don't know if it's best demo so far this day or in your entire life. I don't know about that. No, I think that's a cheerful.
So very quickly, sorry to interrupt. I just want to quickly show you. The guys have just pinged me the my Print OS account. So these are the orders that I just placed. So there is my job live in Print OS. So it arrived 2 minutes ago. So this is no smoke and mirrors. So we can, if I needed to, I can cancel that or update it. But I'll get one of the guys in the background just to update the status for me. And then you can see that. But I just wanted to show you that going all the way through. So that order ID will tailor back right away to my order ID now. And if I just quickly refresh, that's let me know that it's been notified. And I can see all the actions of what's going on, so that it lets me know. So if there's any failures, I can see automatically any issues. Let's say I haven't mapped the product correctly, or anything like that. But I just wanted to show you that it was true end-to-end and not just smoke and mirrors.
Totally cool. Let's see here. It's kind of. I mean, there was a few hiccups because the size of the fonts and the refresh rates on. I don't know 100% whether it's your internet speed or it's just because Webinar Jam sucks. but apparently there was a little bit issues with seeing whatever you were clicking at because the fonts were a little bit. But you know. Sometimes you get what you pay for, and we paid an awful lot of money for Webinar Jam. No, but I think that you showed exactly the flow and how to set up things and do things. So I think that it's also like if people are watching this presentation and want to have like more thorough demo, they should definitely reach out to you, right?
And I'm happy to. There's a few questions there if you want me to pick up on those.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, so within Design Product Camera, you can create rules. Yeah, absolutely. So all of our control at the moment, the release that we have of the plugin is just the base product with all the setup, the variables, etc. The next version of the product that we'll be delivering over the next coming months will have if statements, rules, and wizards that you'll find in our other tools. But in the meantime, if people needed to do that, then they can just use a mega edit platform to be able to build that and be able to do that from that point of view.
I have another question before we can take the next one, and that is like coming up on the 10th year here. How is it going? Are you like available in most places, or how do you see yourself in the market?
And in terms of like countries that we
I mean, do you? I mean, you have obviously not a British only, but I was just wondering how much.
So the majority, if we looked at as it stands today, we're probably 60% Europe with probably 80% UK, and the other 40% is in the US, and that's definitely our focus over the next couple of years. We haven't done a huge amount of business actually outside of the US in the last 12 months. All the business that we've been doing for whatever reason has been driven. I guess maybe the market's a bit more mature, it's a little bit more stable, a lot bigger, so there's been a lot more opportunity. That being said, we've done deals reasonably recently, Austria, Germany, we've got customers in Australia, France,
and talking about customers, is Infigo like both license and subscription based, or is it, or how does it work when you buy it?
So it depends really what you need from us. There is a subscription out of the box with a setup fee, and then if you start needing a lot more complexity, there is we have an enterprise license which has a much larger fee. You're talking into 50, 100, thousands of pounds for the big stuff. But yeah, we start from the basics. Our normal entry is around 5,000 and about sort of 750 to £1,000 a month from the basics.
Okay, perfect.
Modules that you need.
We also got a question from Bruce Harris. He's asking, does the platform support integration with the EFI Printsmith Vision?
So ultimately, we created a plugin, what we call internally is a generic MIS. So it's an exportable XML file that can be mapped to other systems. So we don't, in essence, care what system it is. We either allow that file to be exported, we allow that file to be connected to a HTTP, so another system or API directly, and then we provide the ability of using a translation file, an XSLT file, that allows those systems. So if you call it company name and I call it code name, then we can make sure that those systems, out the box, we obviously have a ton of plugins for the MIS providers. We have a ton of plugins for things like single sign-on. I'd probably say, unusually, we have won significant deals in the last 6 months because of our single sign-on modules, which you'd never have put at. I think that I could have, but for some reason we won some good deals in the US where we've got some nice complexity around integrating. We've just done a recent integration with things like Okta, which is a very well-known single sign-on protocol and web third party. So yeah, that's how we tend to do the integration. So things like what we do, things like Printsmith, we find, depending if they would allow us to, I think it's more the other way. We're happy to play the party with everybody. And we've got customers with anything from your Fastens to your Print IQ to your SAPs to your EFI systems and things like that. Avanti.
Yeah. Kevin Jackson, he has also a question. And I think that's actually very good. And it relates maybe a little bit to another question from Bruce Harris as well. So let's take both in the same go here. First, Kevin, can attributes be inherited across products? For example, if I have a text paragraph which I have set for a poster, can I set it for a greeting card? Or if I have created a template for poster, can I use the same for a canvas? And not 100% in the same ball game, but Bruce Harris is asking, can you create product profiles to apply across multiple products? I think that this is more like, can you reuse parameters from products and things like that?
So let me just read, can attributes be inherited across products? For example, a text paragraph which I set for a poster, can I set it for a greeting card? Or can I create a template for a poster? Can I use it? So ultimately, within Mega Edit, we can have a dynamic canvas. So you can automatically, if you want to change the shape or style of that, you don't have to leave the product and select another product. Normally, it would make more sense that the product would be in the same context. So whether it would make sense to go from a poster to a greeting card, I'm not sure, but we've certainly got customers that are going from an AO poster down to an A4, an A4 down to A3, or up to A3 and things like that. So, but the good thing is you can easily just copy a product. So if you've got some default parameters, we've got customers, what they normally do is they'll set up what I would class as a product master. So they can simply take that product, copy from that, and away you go. And if you've got multiple products, we've got the concept of product grouping, of where you can assign the setup of that product against a group. So
smart.
We'll change it across multiple entities at once.
We're getting more and more questions and we're running out of time. So I think that we maybe speed up a little bit also in the answers. And to Bruce Rocket, I am so happy that you're here from the US, and I'm so sorry that it's blurry and an echo on our microphones. Unfortunately, with all these webinar platforms, they're always depending on connectivity and speed and things like that. We will see what we can do when we create the replays. I can tell you that I have on a separate internet connection, I have a computer and it runs relatively perfect here. So I hope we will be able to make the replays look better. Then Bruce Harris is asking two questions. What kind of shipping integration is available first, and is Okta SSO supported included, or would that be a specific fee, additional fee?
So the Okta is a module, so using our single sign-on.
So that's an extra charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about integrations to shipping? Is that something that is default, or
Yeah.
you have to pick up the stuff yourself, or you have to pay for an additional product?
So we have multiple integrations with things like FedEx and stuff like that. We also integrate with aggregators and other. So we use Easy Post is probably the most, well, that's our default status quo that will provide not just live pricing, but you can also use it to generate a manifest file. So it will automatically post the order into Easy Post, which will in turn send us, if it's available with the courier, a tracking ID, which will be automatically posted within the Catfish system.
Gary Cheek is asking, can the system deal with can the system deal with packaging templates, in particular 3D previews and parametric templates?
Parametric templates. So we have 3D previews. We have 3D artwork files that can allow that. We don't currently link to there are some systems out there that allow us, I think it's RTS CAD and things like that already have that built in. And we currently don't have any customers linking to that and driving out 3D previews automatically.
Okay.
That being said, you can.
There's just one from me. Someone from me quickly, because I see one from Tom Vermeulen here. Just in three bullets, what, in your opinion, are your USPs over other web-to-print solutions? The main ones?
I think
price?
Sorry, so again.
Just the three USPs that you put forward.
So I think is the sort of the wide opportunity with the Catfish platform. You can start very small and go very big. Whereas what we've found in the last couple of years is a lot of people have started with the system and get stuck in that platform. Whereas we feel Catfish very much allows you to grow as the business and grow. We are a true enterprise level product. Number two, I would say our front end flexibility in terms of skinning. There is nobody in the planet better than us at doing front end web-to-print storefronts. And I'll lay that challenge down to anybody who thinks they can deliver it better than Infigo. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I just mean that we have done so many variations that we have true power in the front end. And that's backed up by the development team that support the front end developers. And then lastly, it's the team. This business is all about the people, and the people that provide the service, the support, the infrastructure. We have a really great product, but I know plenty of people that have great products and shit teams, and I'm blessed with very good people that are honest, compassionate, and very driven to do the best for our customers.
I think there was one more question, or actually a couple more. Bruce Harris is again asking here. So, say you have 1,000 plus products, how would you quickly modify them all?
So it depends what you want to modify. So you can use the importer to be able to update and the price. If you use, so let's say you use pricing, scripts, so we can apply a CSV file to update the pricing, so you don't hold the information within the product. Or if you've got other options, you can use the product grouping. So we've got plenty of customers, 1,000 products, but they might have 10 product groups. So one of the customers, I think I whizzed through earlier, is Print My Smile. They have a ton of products such as canvases. They have, and then they have one price for maybe 50 products, so they can do it that way. And ultimately, the last point, if we can't do it within a user interface, then it's our own system, so we can work with a team and provide updates within the database and stuff like that. That's not a preferred route, but if needs be, then we've got those options.
Fantastic. And have we missed any questions, Jacques? Have you seen anything?
I just saw
okay.
It was in the beginning, which was one from Igor, which triggered me a little bit. Was he said, "Well, is eggs and pie somewhere inside the package?"
Eggs and pie, yeah. So and this could be like an official press release. So the front end of our system is VPress. The back end is EFI. We still use digital storefront, but don't tell them. And then the side, all the digital processing is XMPie. And then under the hood for our servers, we're using Flintstone. So we have actually got people in various different countries doing pedal power. So that is an official announcement that you can quote me on if anybody's got any questions on that.
Yeah, but why didn't you tell us something that we didn't know then?
Oh! I thought I was telling you right there. It's always been right.
So Douglas, Andres is asking, is Spanish supported?
I'll maybe put that out to one of my guys, Pablo, from Spain. He's our development manager, very much supported. So we have, look at the typical EFIGs. It's English, French, Italian, German, Spanish translation. But we are working with HP on a customer in Israel as well. So we've got some work that we're doing in Arabic right to left, which is there's a whole lot of complexity that brings that we're looking at in the last year as well.
Kelly Harris, she is, I think it's a woman, isn't it? Kelly is a woman's name, right? Yeah.
No, it could be, I know a Kelly, and it could be Kelly that I know.
Okay, but nevertheless,
I think that is a chap.
Okay, a chap or a person, we can say as much as a person, right? How are display prices handled within the system? Are prices generated on the page or by lookup table?
So it depends what the complexity of the pricing you want. Some of our customers have a single one-off price that's built into the database. And then other our customers, we've got one of our customers down in Wales, Pensword, who use and do a lot of uploads with magazines and stuff. So we need to look at how many pages, we need to look at how much stapling, we need to look at what type of binding. So they hold the pricing in one spreadsheet, we have a JavaScript file that holds the calculation. The flexibility of the pricing within the system, much to the dismay of some of our developers sometimes, is very flexible. There's a lot of options. And also we can pull the price from third-party partners. So we've worked with PrintIQ to pull live pricing. We've worked with Farston to pull live pricing. We've worked with Optimus, Solprint, and other MIS providers to be able to pull pricing directly from third parties as well.
Andres is asking about Spanish assistance contact, and I just want to refer that if you look at Juliana Saab, she is working. That is a woman I know. Is working working with
very capable marketing.
Yeah, working with Infigo, and as she points out in her message here in the chat, is basically write at hello@infigosoftware.com, and I'm pretty sure that they will return on all your contact requests and things like that. And I'm pretty sure that you can also find information on Infigo website, of course. And just as a short reference here, because we're running out of time, I have posted Douglas's LinkedIn profile. He is pretty good responsive on that one. I would say all other things is non-responsive, but I'm just wondering in that perspective, when you're not responsive, is your solution responsive so it works on mobile phones?
Yeah, we are mobile responsive. Yeah, I used to say to my customers, this went by Xerox days, that I'll be there on the same day. I just can't tell you what time of day. But I try to be a little bit better. But luckily, I'm back with, as I say, a very good team that are responsive and get back to you in good time.
Very last question before we are going to the next session, which is with Robert Godwin. And
I'm off to Robert already, so thank you, Douglas.
Yeah,
see you next
and
one.
to Antalya from Renderpress. There's one more question. I think we can just get that out. That is from Bruce again, Harris. He is asking, I think it's a man. Now it becomes a thing. He is asking, can customer upload their own files for print production, for printing engineering plans or binders, for example?
Yep. So we can. You have the option for selecting upload files, so you don't have to be. We are very fortunate to work very closely with Infocus as well. So we we OEM the Focus pit stop, so we can do pre-flighting and things like that, making sure that files are correct sizes, formats, etc., which I forgot to even touch on. So that's a nice little.
That was the last word, Sir Gibson. It was a pleasure to.
Always Morten, and keep doing what you do. I absolutely love it, and you've made a very happy man today. And I wasn't joking. I said to Kelvin earlier on, I polished my brogues. I even put fancy shoes on, even though
Fantastic.
I'm not out today. So.
Fantastic.
Great to see you guys. And
yeah, everybody, thank you very much for your time here. Please join us for the next session. I'm pretty sure that it will be exciting too. And again, to Douglas and your team, thank you for your support. It's always great to have you here. So I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, very soon. Thanks, Walter.